There is a big problem with the Skate franchise.
Skate 2025 is one of the most soulless experiences I have ever had to endure.
It's another soulless, Fortnite-modeled microtransaction scam disguised as a video game.
After so many years, Skate 4 has finally come out into early access. And there's a lot of fiery debate around this, with some people believing that it's terrible and some saying that it's great.
But when you look a bit closer at the reviews, a common theme keeps arising. It seems that most people are not only comparing this new game with the old ones, but also their memories of the good old days of Skate. So, this huge split in the community really comes down to just one word: nostalgia. If you're a fan of the Skate franchise, you've definitely played Skate 3. But if you're an even bigger fan, you've played the other two as well. The Skate games were pioneers in the skateboarding genre as they closely replicated real-life skateboarding, but in an accessible way. This meant for people such as myself, who can only attempt to do an ollie, we felt included in the skating culture. This and many other fun features became a massive selling point for the game, one that would soon outsell its closest competitor, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Similar to the Xbox PlayStation divide, players on either side of Skate and Tony Hawk's created a dedicated fanbase that continuously sparked debate on which game was better. However, the Tony Hawk's franchise regularly made new games, whilst the Skate franchise produced not a single new game for 15 years. So during this extremely long wait, Skate fans only really had two options: wait and simply relive the fond memories of the good old days, or just simply go back and play the older games. Yet both options all lead to the start of the same problem now facing the Skate community: the battle with nostalgia. Nostalgia arises from tender and yearnful reflection on meaningful life events or important persons from one's past. Well, that's according to this paper. The reason this paper is important is because it attempts to pinpoint brain areas associated with nostalgia. And doing so, we uncover not only how powerful nostalgia is as a feeling, but also the ways that Skate as a franchise can win back its community. Generally speaking, nostalgia is deeply rooted in past experiences. That's why we become nostalgic about certain things that have happened in our life. The school we went to, the house we grew up in, and even the games we used to play as kids. This type of memory is called autobiographical memory. It's the type of memory that involves the processing of the self in mental time travel into the past. Now, what the hell does that even mean? These researchers, man, they're actually doing too much.
What the
Anyways, you use your autobiographical memory to remember yourself watching those Skate 3 videos from PewDiePie or the Gaming Lemon. Hopping on Hall of Meat and seeing how big your medical bill can be. Or just being greeted in a friendly manner by pensioners. See, all of this is happening in your hippocampus, an area situated deep into your temporal lobe. Without this brain area, learning and memory would be as difficult as landing this trick in real life. Now, 15 years is a long time to dwell on such memories. Yet these memories are usually positive, meaning that we are actively regulating our emotion when nostalgia hits. We can thank our anterior cingulate cortex for that one. This brain area is situated in my favorite lobe, the frontal lobe, and this brain area actually does quite a lot of things. One of which is apparent when you load up the new Skate game. As you quickly realize the art style is completely different from the previous games. Your favorite game modes are missing, and instead of producing that nice fuzzy feeling you were hoping for, your anterior cingulate cortex is responsible for making you feel utter dissatisfaction, as it's responsible for your emotional and cognitive processing. This juxtaposition between your memories and experiences of the previous Skate games and what you've been given by EA creates a gap between expectation and reality. And unfortunately, filling this gap is
my disappointment.
Thankfully though, EA can do something about this. They can of course put in game modes like Hall of Meat and other classic game modes to tickle your autobiographical memory. I mean, I doubt they'll change the whole art style, but they can sure implement areas of the map that are more your typical skate style environments. But even if they did all of this, there would still be a problem. That's because a major part of nostalgia is, well, you. You are the one experiencing nostalgia about your own memories, and as our paper puts it, the central and defining character of nostalgia is the self. So, why the hell are you not allowed to be by yourself? Why are you always forced into being on a server full of random people? By making the new skate game always online, EA automatically minimizes the ability of self-reflective processing. As the self is the main character in nostalgia, the community needs an option to kind of turn on, tune in, and drop out. This way, our medial prefrontal cortex and our posterior cingulate cortex can get into action and not be interrupted by random people laying helplessly on the ground. Help me! Okay, so far we've covered 3 main areas of nostalgia and the respective brain areas responsible for it. We've also suggested ways that EA can help improve the game by getting people to recreate their nostalgic memories. However, our last category also happens to be our biggest hurdle. But before we get onto it, why not subscribe to the channel? It only takes a few seconds and it helps me a ton with getting to my goal of 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Appreciate it very much. And anyways, where were we? Oh yeah, you see, another big part of nostalgia is also reward processing. Thanks to the various regions of the reward network in our brain, we can process what feels satisfying, what's worth grinding for, and it's a big reason why we play video games in the first place. Empirical studies have indicated that nostalgia promotes the pursuit of one's important goals. In the context of previous skate games, that would typically be an unlockable item, new skateboard, or leveling up your player or team. However, in the current skate game, well, the rewards are very ironically not rewarding. Most, if not all, rewards are easily attainable through a direct debit to the bank accounts of EA, and the ones that are free to grind out simply don't provide the kind of motivation they used to. It's a shame really that it's gotten to this point, but the gaming industry has shifted toward this model of gaming. Free-to-play games with eye-catching microtransactions seem to be the norm nowadays. But the same way the industry has shifted, the demographic playing skate has also shifted. Speaking from personal experience here, I was just starting my teenage years when Skate 3 was popular, and I feel like many of you were in a similar position. The combination of being a kid with barely any responsibilities and having access to Skate 3 was a perfect combination for nostalgia to arise. But as we grew up and shifted into more independent human beings, the gaming industry also changed quite a bit. The teenagers of today are unfortunately used to aggressive microtransaction tactics, oversaturated colors, and art styles. So, by not releasing a game for 15 years, EA unknowingly signed themselves up for an impossible task: to satisfy those nostalgic cravings of the people who played their previous skate games, and also appeal to younger and new audiences that have been raised in Fortnite-style free-to-play games. This is perhaps why there is such a big divide in opinion about the game. It seems that for every positive, there is an equal negative. And trying to please and appeal to differing audiences is a task that EA was perhaps not ready to do. But if there's one thing that every person can agree on, is that
FYI, I've been equipped with an AR program to get rid of distractions like random objects and lurkers while we own this spot.
Fuck off!